This is where meditation comes in. If you're in a season of transition, meditation and reflection are going to be two of the most important things you can do for yourself, and two of the most comforting things. So again, routine, y'all. We gonna talk about routine forever because that's how you build consistency, and consistency is how you build. Y'all, it's been a minute. It has been a minute, and it feels so strange, honestly, to be sitting here right now. But eventually, you got to get back on the horse. So here we are. So, for starters, we can do our mindful minute because this one is really just a teaser episode, like a hey, I'm back and this is what to expect. So the new series is called A New Leaf, and essentially it's just designed for people who are in their wilderness season still, people who have not yet transitioned to spring, just to kind of help usher that in, work the process, help you work through it, and then bring you to springtime because it's a beautiful place to be. But as I always say, the darkness has its purpose, but it can also overtake you if you don't know how to manage it. And I think a lot of people who, especially maybe at the beginning of their spiritual journeys, or they're just going deeper into it or transitioning in certain areas of their life, I think that it can be extremely triggering. Even if it's a good transition, it's like being in a healthy relationship. Like, it's uncomfortable because you're always waiting for the next shoe to drop. And so you have to learn how to kind of recalibrate your energy and steadying and anchoring yourself in what is now and not where you were. And that's easier said than done, even when we're standing in our manifestations, or like we're right at the door of them. So, for starters, let's just get into our mindful minute. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. This mindful minute is just to all bring us present, myself included, so that we can align with the energy of the message, so that we can be receptive to it, so that we're not distracted. Just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Drop your shoulders. If you'd like, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Anchor into your seat, whatever's supporting you, and just sink into it. One more. Shake it out. Okay, so if you have been stuck in cycles and unhealthy patterns of any kind, whether that be certain behaviors that you stop doing, certain habits like smoking excessively, drinking excessively, being overly active or inactive in certain areas of your life that are not serving you, this series is for you. Okay. And the schedule, just so we all know, we're going to get into somewhat of a general encouragement message because I feel like this is what we need. It's like The analogy that kept coming through in my season when winter was coming to an end, right? Literally and figuratively for me, it's the analogy of labor. So, rather you're pregnant with a dream, an idea, or just a vision of what you want your life to look like and what you know you were made for it to look like, or what you know you were made to create, or you feel called to create, you're pregnant with something. And pregnancy can be a beautiful thing because it births new life and it holds so much potential. But as we all know, it's not a comfortable process and it's often not fun. And at the grand finale, when shit really gets real, it's it's a huge risk and a huge challenge. It's the hardest part of the pregnancy, right? So that's the analogy that's been coming up for me. So when I feel overburdened, when I feel overwhelmed, when I just get tired, I tell myself, breathe and push. Breathe and push, because these are essentially just contractions. Like, that's why you're getting so uncomfortable. That's why you're getting so antsy, because it's right there. So just know that feeling that you have, that anxiety that's coming up, that uneasiness. One day you're like very grounded. The next day your energy is a little chaotic, especially with the eclipse. If you absorbed all of that energy and you're not putting it into something, you may feel just that's the best way I can describe it. It's like just a ball of energy and you don't know what to do with it, and it can almost make you feel anxious. But that's just energy that you've absorbed, and so now you get to use it. So we have to make sure that we're pointing it towards something useful and not just sitting in a ball of nerves. So what I've been doing a lot is breath work. So when I feel worked up, kind of like at the start of this episode, because I haven't done this, y'all, since last summer. And although it's something very natural for me and it's something I'm called to do and have been called to do for a long time, there still comes nerves with it, because it's like I want the message to, like, I want it to be what it needs to be for y'all and for me. But I'm always reminded, just speak from the heart, because the soul knows, right? When you hear somebody speaking truth, even if you're not consciously aware of it's something you're learning for the first time, you know that it's truth because it resonates deep in your soul. So that's how I like my content to come across. Is not something that I'm consciously trying to manipulate or orchestrate or maneuver into something that resonates, because it's soul work that we do here. We talk about life. We've been talking about life from day one. So back to the encouragement piece, right? Trust that you are where you are for a reason. Even if it feels like, oh, I should have been there by now. Even if it feels like I'm so close I can taste it, but I can't touch it. And it's frustrating, right? Even if it feels that way, trust. Because like we talk about all the time, manifestations that are massive life shifts and transitions, those take time to be orchestrated. Not only for your outward to be reorganized and restructured and for the path to be made clear, but also your inner world. And that's the most important world, because without that, we stay stuck in these cycles. And that's what we're going to address throughout this new series, is how do we break out of these cycles of self-sabotaging, of being overcome with feelings of stagnancy, depression, over analysis that can be paralyzing. How do we break out of these cycles and say, you know what? The clock is ticking and I'm not getting any younger. And I always used to say, either you're moving with the days or the days are moving past you. And it's really that simple. So every day, wake up knowing that you're one day closer to where you want to be, for one. This is what I have to tell myself all the time, because I have so many goals. I'm always going to be in transit for the rest of my life. I've accepted that. It's going to be transition after transition after transition. And that's an uncomfortable realization to come to, because it's like, golly. But you do have seasons where you're just kind of nesting and you're resting in what you've created and manifested. But there's always something inside of you that's going to keep pulling you toward more, because that's your human potential trying to maximize itself and manifest itself in the world. So know that it's a lifelong process. So you might as well get used to it. Like, you might as well come up with methods to make yourself feel safer in transition. And even if you can't anchor in that all the time, make it a practice. And this is where meditation comes in. If you're in a season of transition, meditation and reflection are going to be two of the most important things you can do for yourself, and two of the most comforting things. So again, routine, y'all. We're going to talk about routine forever, because that's how you build consistency. And consistency is how you build momentum. Even when it comes to energy and shifting your energy and anchoring in certain energy that feels good to you. And so when I wake up in the morning, I see my meditation as my anchoring into my day. So no matter what comes my way, even if I get a little pissed off for a second, even if I get a little sad, even if my energy feels chaotic for a moment, I know how to anchor myself. And if you don't meditate, at least do 5 minutes of breath work in the morning. Just 5 minutes of breath work, because you have to move that energy through you. Especially with the transit that we're in, as far as astrology goes. I'm not an astrologist. Clearly I'm not. But it's something that I do want to learn more about, because I do realize how much we're affected. Just like we're affected by the moon, and the moon affects the ocean. Like, we're over 70% water. So I truly believe that we're affected by planetary alignments, and nobody can tell me that we're not. Okay. Because I definitely feel the shifts all the time. Even when I don't know what's going on in space, I can feel it in my body. So again, routine. So meditation and reflection. So then making time for meditation, yes, but making time for reflection, y'all. So when you feel like you're stagnant, when you feel distracted, when you're purposely distracting yourself because you're avoiding doing something that risks failure or exposure or vulnerability, reflect. And I'm smiling because I literally had to do this yesterday. Like, it's such an interesting and beautiful season. But when you're transitioning, there's also a purging of energy. So there's so much that's going to come up. And that's a lot when you're already focused on like working on the material plane, right? But when your soul beckons, you have to answer. You have to make space for it, because it's only going to get worse energetically. It's going to only get more chaotic or more heavy if you don't clear it. You have to tend to it and reflect on it and clear it. So the benefit of reflection is you can be completely honest about where you are and what you're feeling, right? If you know that you were supposed to record the episode, or if you know you're supposed to study a certain thing, or if you know you were supposed to cold call clients, whatever it is, that one thing on your agenda that somehow just miraculously is not getting done day after day for an entire week, that thing you're avoiding, there's something in there for you. Most of the time, it's a fear. It's a discomfort that we're avoiding because we don't want to feel what may come after. But here's the thing. Going back to an old video I did, I think it was this video, about goal setting and accomplishment. Ask yourself, right? Let's say I'm studying how to trade, right? And I'm avoiding getting on my charts and using my exhaustion from the solar eclipse and the retrograde as an excuse. I have to be self-aware enough to say, this is a problem. We need to address it. So I sit down with myself and I ask myself, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that it's not going to click? Are you afraid that you can't consistently be profitable? Are you afraid to let go of life as it is right now? Are you resisting the transition that you pray for? Are you resisting the transition that you prayed for, y'all? That just hit me because I wrote earlier, I will not resist this transition because it's been so uncomfortable. And I love this because it's so therapeutic for me to talk about this stuff with y'all because I know I'm not alone. And I hope that whoever this reaches, you identify with it and you feel it and you have that same affirmation for yourself. And then I had just popped on 19 Keys Live, and one affirmation that he said for when things don't go as you want them to go or don't feel like you want them to feel, like you're just having a funky day energetically for whatever reason, an affirmation he said is, things could be worse and they will be better. Things could be worse and they will be better. So back to the question, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? For the chart example, if I get on my charts and I have a complete, like, just utter failure of a day as far as it goes with my analysis for whatever reason. For one, that means I need to take a mental break and I need to reassess my notes and see what's going on because there's no reason for that because my mentor is amazing. Shout out to Jessica Lane. Okay. But also asking myself, what's the worst that can happen? Even if that does happen, I'm still like, you get to live to fight another day. Like, it's not the end of the world to make a mistake on something. It's not the end of the world to record a video that is not as great as you wanted it to be, right? It's not the end of the world to reach out to someone you've been wanting to talk to and be rejected, or reach out for an opportunity and be rejected. Life goes on. And that's the beauty of reflection. Because you start to realize how irrational the fear is. But also don't judge yourself for it because you're human, right? We always talk about giving yourself grace, giving others grace. And we're going to do an episode on that somewhere in the series, but also grace for others. But just understand and trust that everything is always exactly as it should be. And that's a hard pill to swallow when your reality doesn't match your in here. That's a hard pill to swallow when you're waking up day after day, going to a job that you hate, or living in an environment that's not conducive for your growth, or being faced with challenge after challenge. If you have health challenges or relationship challenges and you feel like you're doing everything right, that's a hard pill to swallow. But it all comes down to, what do you choose to trust and believe in, right? Do you choose to trust that things could be worse, but they will get better? Or do you choose to stay anchored in that sadness and that fear and that despair? Because it is a choice. And it's a conscious choice you have to make. When you get tired enough, you'll make the change. You will make the change every time because you'll be forced to. You'll start to feel so squeezed that you just have to leap out of the box. And that's what's happened to my life, like over and over and over again. I have to continue to leap out of these little boxes of frameworks, even when it comes to ideologies, spiritual practices, routines. Shake it up. Shake it up, shake it off, and move around. Like, do something different. Do something. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you are doing it, this is also encouragement. Just keep going. Even if you don't see the fruits yet, you know. Mel Robbins says, she said to herself, there's no way, Mel, that you can work this hard and not be rewarded for it. And I tell myself that all the time because entrepreneurship is grueling work, y'all. Even if you love what you do, it's hard work, right? I've been up since 3:30 this morning. I had to take a nap for 2 hours in the afternoon, then get back to it. And now I'm recording content because it's what I had to do today. It's on the agenda. And that takes a different level of commitment and a different level of discipline. But if you've been doing it, you're built for it. Just keep going. And if you have not started doing it, but you want to start doing it, you can build yourself for it. While I have you on that subject, this book, No Excuses by Brian Tracy. If you struggle with discipline, this is the book for you. Literally, it touches on every area of life. I think it's 21 chapters, so you can read a chapter a day for 21 days. And this was recommended by my mentor, again, Jessica Lane. She's just the best, y'all. She's the best. She's an incredible human. And it helped you, like, if you've been off track, if you've been inconsistent, knowing that you have to read a chapter a day, again, that routine, that alone is going to help you with your consistency. And then as you absorb the knowledge inside of the book, it's going to speak to your soul and your heart and your mind, and it's going to make you start building healthy routines to stay disciplined. Because discipline is like, it's the highest act of self-love. Because you no longer rob yourself. You no longer rob your future self. You no longer rob your current self. If you know you're in a situation that you want to get out of, but you know that you're not doing everything you can to get out of it, you're selling yourself short every single day. And you're choosing to do that because nobody's stopping you but you. I don't care if you have naysayers. I don't care if you live in a negative environment. I don't care if you don't have the resources you need to have. There's always a way out. You have to look around in the world at the people who have come from worse conditions than you and know that you are so blessed, even standing where you are. And I know it doesn't always feel like it. I know it gets hard. I feel you. Trust me. Okay? Things are not always as glamorous as they look. Okay? But I know, just like I say, you are made of the same bone, skin, and flesh that those people are who've made it from much more severe conditions, especially if you live in America. Yes, things are more expensive, but the internet is free. And there are people who teach free skills that can really change your life if you commit to that. There are no more excuses, y'all. So I'm here to encourage you to keep going if you're going. Keep building that momentum. Know that momentum. In the beginning, it's going to feel like pushing a boulder up the hill, but eventually, baby, it's going to coast, and you're going to coast with it. And that is the fruits of your labor. But first, you got to make a deposit, right? You got to make a deposit. You got to build that muscle, that resistance. You got to build up your skills, and you do it through repetition, okay? And then if you haven't started, have realistic expectations for what the process is going to look like. It's going to take time to build discipline. You're going to fall off. Even once you develop the discipline, you're not a robot, you're a human. So give yourself grace, but stay committed. Even if you fall off, say tomorrow, I'm going to be intentional about waking up on time. I'm going to eat my vegetables. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to do my yoga. I'm going to do my meditation. And every Friday, I'm going to make an appointment with myself to reflect. Because if you reflect, even if you don't have time to do it every day, right? If you have a family, kids, whatever life is doing, make a habit of doing it on Fridays. So it can be in the morning when you wake up, on your way to work, or just set a time. Set an hour just to sit aside with your journal and just reflect on how did this week go? The intentions that I set at the beginning of the week, did I keep? Did I hold true to them? Did I follow through with them? If I did, what could I do better in my execution? What did I do great? And that helps you level up week by week. And write these things down so you can consciously stay aware of them throughout your week and revisit them. The intentions that I set for this week and what I want to do better than I did last week. And you just go forward with that. And eventually, you'll be so great. Like, it's going to be unbelievable. And I can't wait to see that for you. And I love that for you. And I love that for us. But success is a simple recipe. But it's something that you have to work on every single day. 7 days a week. And it's crazy because I did the calculation, y'all. When I first started studying, when I got Jessica's course, I started studying. And I was only going to study 5 days a week because I worked Saturdays and Sundays. Then I did a calculation. I'm like, that's almost a third of your year that you're not studying. So imagine, even if you did just 1 or 2 hours on those days that you work, how much further along and how much greater you could be faster by not taking any days off, y'all. This is what they mean when they say no days off. But it's because you miss so much. Even taking one day, even if you do 1 hour of whatever it is, whether that's reading, writing, producing content, reaching out to clients, just 1 hour a day, y'all. It makes so much difference. Start small and build on that. Don't bite off more than you can chew in the beginning. It's going to be overwhelming. You're going to get tired. And if you have been doing it and you know you can do more, level up. Like, do yourself a favor and just level up and trust that it's coming. I'm wrapping up the message at this point. It is coming. And every day you got to speak that. Every day you got to speak that and prophesy that over your life and know that it's a fact. Okay? Do not be fooled by what you see, what you can feel, what you can touch, what you can taste. Don't be fooled by your physical senses, because this world is it's a spiritual thing. Everything that exists on this plane came from the spiritual realm. So if you set those intentions and you've done your visualizations and you've been putting in the work day in and day out, it's literally just a matter of time. There is no doubt about it, right? And if you know that there are parts of your system that you need to tweak, find a mentor. Make it easier. Take the shortcut. Mentors are the ultimate shortcut. Don't be afraid to spend money and invest in yourself. And just don't quit. Okay, stay 10 toes down. And that's pretty much all I want to say. This was just a teaser episode. I was just guided to do some encouragement because I needed it. So I'm sure y'all need it. And also, episodes are going to be coming every Sunday again. So I'll be posting every Sunday, I will say at 7 p.m. Central, maybe 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, something like that. So if you're subscribed, you can hit the bell and it'll tell you when, or you can just come Sunday night, after you shower and get into your pajamas, go ahead and tune into the podcast and share with a friend if you had anything of value come out of this episode for you. Also, you can follow me in the meantime on IG and TikTok at The World of Taj, and that'll be on the screen there so y'all can see. Also, you can DM me if you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything as far as wellness, spirituality. I'm not a mental health professional, but I can say that I've lived through mental health challenges, and so I may be able to help you with those. Of course, consult who you need to consult for that if you're really struggling. Or leave a comment below if you have specific questions when it comes to your wellness routines, when it comes to your spiritual practices, healthy habits in general, how to build a healthy routine around your lifestyle. At the moment, I'm not taking coaching clients because I don't have the time, but if enough people need it, I will start to go live during the week, most likely on Wednesday afternoons or something like that. And I'll just have an hour of Q&A sessions where I basically just coach y'all for free. I look forward to that. So I hope that more people reach out. But in the meantime, that's where you can catch me, IG and TikTok at The World of Taj. And until next time, okay, be kind, stay true. Hold the space for growth, hold the space for grace. Trust every day. Choose to trust in your process. Choose to trust that it's taking you where you want to go and beyond. Okay, hold on for the good days to come, because they're coming. They're coming, and I'm going to help you through it. If you've been struggling with the darkness, this series is for you. Specifically designed for you. Love you so much, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. And until next time, your favorite wellness coach signing out. Peace.